O positive is the most dominant blood type on the planet, defining the biology of 40% of the global population. Its critical role in medicine comes down to one word: compatibility. O positive red blood cells can be transfused into anyone with a positive Rh factor, which covers a staggering 85% of all people. In emergency surgery, where every second counts, O positive becomes the universal fuel used to stabilize patients with A+, B+, and AB+ types before their specific match can even be identified. But the advantages go beyond the donor clinic. Carriers of this group possess a unique, innate edge. They naturally have the lowest levels of key blood clotting factors, specifically Factor VIII and von Willebrand factor. This genetic quirk means their risk of developing life-threatening blood clots, heart attacks, and strokes is 25 to 30% lower than those with other blood types. O positive isn't just the most in-demand resource for blood banks, it is a biological profile genetically shielded from the modern world's leading silent killers, cardiovascular catastrophes, which currently claim 1 out of every 3 lives on Earth. Blood type O is humanity's oldest biological shield, forged under the intense selective pressure of malaria. The statistics are staggering. The absence of A and B antigens grants type O carriers up to a 66% protection rate against severe, lethal forms of malaria, a disease that still claims over 600,000 lives every year. The parasite Plasmodium falciparum simply cannot bind effectively to these cells, a trait that allowed type O to become the dominant blood group among ancient hunter-gatherers. However, this protection comes with a heavy price. The very biology that shields type O from malaria makes the body a sitting duck for other pathogens. Research shows that individuals with group O are 35 to 50% more likely to suffer from peptic ulcers, as the H. pylori bacteria find it much easier to attach to their stomach lining. Furthermore, they are significantly more vulnerable to cholera and severe strains of norovirus. Type O is a classic example of an evolutionary equation. The survival during the malaria epidemics of our past was paid for with an increased sensitivity to gastrointestinal infections in our present. Type O negative is the holy grail of emergency medicine. Its uniqueness lies in the complete absence of antigens, A, B, and the Rh factor, rendering its red blood cells virtually invisible to any human immune system. This is the only true universal donor. In the critical golden hour, the first 60 minutes following a severe trauma, doctors often don't have the luxury of waiting for a cross-match test. In these life and death moments, they reach for O negative without hesitation. Because it lacks the triggers that cause a fatal immune rejection, it can be safely administered to any patient, regardless of their blood type. This is exactly why air ambulances, rescue helicopters, and elite trauma units prioritize their limited storage space for this specific rare group. It is the ultimate insurance policy against the clock. However, the biological generosity of this blood group comes with a fatal vulnerability for its carriers. While type O negative can save anyone, the person carrying it is in a precarious position. Their immune system is primed to attack any and all foreign antigens. This means they can only receive blood from their own exact type. The statistics only deepen the crisis. O negative blood is found in just 7% of the global population. This creates a state of permanent scarcity. A carrier of this group is the most wanted guest at any donation center. Yet, in the event of their own injury, they are at the mercy of an incredibly small circle of fellow rare donors. It is the ultimate form of genetic responsibility. You can save the world, but the world will struggle to save you. A positive is the second most common blood type in the world, found in roughly 30% of the population. Scientists link its emergence to the agrarian revolution, the moment humanity abandoned the nomadic life of the hunter for settled farming. The defining biological feature of this group is the heightened activity of its blood clotting system. In an era where field accidents or complications during childbirth were leading causes of death, the ability of blood to instantly form a protective plug was a priceless evolutionary gift. This enhanced clotting efficiency allowed our ancestors to survive the crowded, hazardous conditions of early urban settlements, where even a minor injury could otherwise prove fatal. However, the very trait that saved farmers thousands of years ago has become a biological trap for the modern human. What was once a life-saving mechanism has evolved into a predisposition for thrombosis, ischemia, and strokes. Research confirms that individuals with type A are 20% more likely to suffer from cardiovascular complications, especially when combined with a sedentary lifestyle. Beyond the blood vessels, their biology carries another burden, a genetic predisposition for higher levels of cortisol, the stress hormone. This makes A-positive carriers more sensitive to psychological pressure and increases the risk of chronic inflammation and gastric cancer. Type A represents the blood of the architects of civilization, a group that paid for their settled lifestyle with a unique vulnerability to the diseases of the modern era. Type A negative is among the rarest blood groups, found in fewer than 6% of the population. It is a complex biological profile, carrying the sophisticated antigens of group A, but lacking the Rh factor, making it a critical asset for modern medicine. Carriers of this group are the ideal donors for all patients with type A and AB, regardless of their Rh status. However, because of its scarcity, hospital stocks of A negative often hover at critical levels. This creates a permanent balancing act. While these individuals possess a life-saving resource for others, they themselves depend on a vanishingly small circle of compatible donors to avoid a fatal immune reaction. Type B positive is the marker of the Great Migrations. Found in 9% of the world's population, its prevalence peaks across Central Asia and Eastern Europe. Its defining strength lies in the incredible resilience of both the digestive and immune systems. Those with type B possess a unique biological flexibility, allowing them to thrive on highly diverse diets, from dairy and grains to heavy meats. While other blood groups struggled with sudden dietary shifts, the nomads of Group B flourished, conquering new territories and climates. This is the blood of survivors, an organism that learned how to extract energy where others simply could not sustain life. Despite its powerful adaptability, the biology of type B positive hides a subtle internal threat. Research indicates that carriers of this type possess a hypersensitive immune system. On one hand, this provides a fortified shield against many common bacterial infections. On the other, this exact same trait makes them more prone to autoimmune disorders such as lupus or multiple sclerosis. Furthermore, the B antigen is linked to a higher susceptibility to urinary tract infections and specific forms of pneumonia. Type B is a prime example of a biological balancing act, an aggressive immune system that can save your life in the wild, but may turn to attack its own host in the modern world. Type B negative is one of the hardest blood groups to source, present in less than 2% of the global population. Its rarity transforms every single unit of this blood into a strategic resource. In medical terms, this is a high-risk group. Due to its specific antigenic profile and lack of the Rh factor, finding a compatible donor in a local hospital can feel like winning a grim lottery. This is a loner group. Its carriers represent an isolated genetic enclave whose survival depends entirely on the precision and efficiency of global donor networks. For B-negative individuals, geography is destiny. Being too far from a major blood bank is a risk they live with every day. Type AB positive is the pinnacle of genetic mixing, the youngest and rarest of the major blood groups, found in only about 3% of people. From a patient's perspective, AB positive carriers are biological lottery winners. Because their blood contains all the major antigens, A, B, and Rh, they are universal recipients. They can receive red blood cells from any other group without the risk of rejection. But in the world of donation, the roles are reversed. While their red blood cells are only compatible with their own type, their plasma hides a medical miracle. A B+ plasma is free of antibodies, making it the universal plasma. This is the liquid gold of trauma centers, used to restore clotting and save lives in cases of severe burns and massive hemorrhaging. In the theater of medicine, AB+ is the ultimate backup. Finally, we reach the edge of human biology, AB negative. This is the rarest blood group on the planet, occurring in only 0.5% of the population. It is a statistical anomaly, the result of a late evolutionary merger between populations A and B. It serves as a biological fingerprint of our species' extreme genetic diversity. Carriers of AB negative possess the most valuable plasma in the world, yet they live in a state of constant biological vulnerability. Should they need a transfusion, they can only accept blood from the rarest negative types, O-, A-, B-, and AB-. To carry this code is to stand at the very frontier of human genetics. It is a powerful reminder of our interconnectedness. The life of the rarest individual on Earth may one day depend on a total stranger from the other side of the globe.